Welcome to Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta, your host with Jump Consulting. And today I want you guys to think about if you had an opportunity during the sales process to really knock the socks off of your potential clients, would you take advantage of it? Many of us actually do have that power, but aren't utilizing it. And it's just simply from our cell phone. Today, my guest is going to light a fire underneath your butt. So get ready because it's going to be one of the episodes you're going to want to listen to twice. David Feinman creates to inspire. He believes that everyone has the right to be fulfilled. He believes in the shared creativity. He believes that the power of defining your why, which we've talked about so many times on this podcast, and shares his message through the creative process. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
For sure. You guys, I want you to check out viralideasmarketing.com. When I was doing my own prep work to meet with you, David, I stumbled upon one of these incredible videos that you did that really was very, for me, Super Bowl-esque inspired. And it was about this like little girl and this little boy and their little, they were little and they were playing like telephone with a can and a string and just very nonchalant, very nostalgic, right? And then it skips forward 25 years and the girl's stressed out and crazed and she comes home and there's this package and inside it is this, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. I mean, the story was so great. It was this can with the rope and it says, "Call me." And you could just feel her emotion of just melting back into that moment. And there were no words in that entire video. You did not have any narrative, no voiceovers, nothing. It was music and video. And the profound impact that you made was incredible. And I want the pet sitters and dog walkers today to just listen to all of your methodologies here and see how they could actually take the most warm and fuzzy topic, which is pets, and do the same thing in their own business, on their own time, on their own budget. So, David, where do you want to start? There's so many things we can start with.
Yeah.
Why don't you fill in the gaps and tell us how you got to be where you are?
Yeah, of course. So I started this business about 2.5 years ago, with kind of the sheer purpose of helping business owners and entrepreneurs and, large businesses, create video content for social media. And, for the past 2.5 years, we've worked with about 115 clients all across the globe and creating incredible video content. I think it's the best in the world, but I'm a little biased. So really kind of from the pet owner's perspective, we actually did a video, and I was just talking to the business owner this morning about pet ownership and in relation to an alarm company. And they're a pretty big regional player in alarms. And, being that I'm talking to a bunch of pet owners, I'm probably going to pull out a couple heartstrings here. But the concept of the video is, and I'll have to send you over the link to this so you guys can check it out.
Please do. We'll put it in the show notes.
But basically, there's a woman, and she's straightening her hair in the morning, and she drops her hair straightener on the ground and walks out of the door, and she's finished getting ready, and a fire starts in her house. Her dog's still there, and the dog obviously can't call the fire department.
Oh my gosh!
So what ends up happening is smoke fills the room. The dog has a lot of anxiety, and ultimately, of course, the alarm company swoops in and is able to basically
save the day,
and change the course of action with what's going on. So something like that really creates an emotional connection to the fact that there's an alarm company, and it hits home for that specific dog owner. So I mean, knowing that I'm talking to a group of dog owners, a group of pet lovers, a group of people that are engaged with that market, it's important to form that connection and bond that people have with their pets with pet owners.
Yeah, that's so poignant because the very first place I thought you were going to go to was just the doors open, the dog got out, because that's the most obvious thing, right?
Yes.
But you just took that to the next level of emotion and had the threat and the fear of this dog dying in a fire that the client caused. Holy crap. That's amazing. Telling us you just told a story, and that's incredible.
And what I was thinking too, with in relation to dog, pet sitters, dog walkers, whatever it might be, people don't hire a dog walker, don't hire a pet sitter because they don't love their pets.
Right.
They have an emotional connection to their pets and they want someone there for them. So being able to show someone that, and I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, being able to show someone that, is one of the most powerful things.
Yeah, yeah. As I hear you, people that have listened to me for a long time, I'm always telling people solve problems, don't sell the industry. Because it's very common, David, for pet sitters to sell the industry. And they say, we turn the blinds for the lived in look and no
Yeah,
travel trauma to the kennel. But as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of things like, okay, so the problem I solve is I work too long. So you could have a busy pet owner on a video maybe, or like, staging or something
yeah,
of them, like they're at work and they keep looking at the picture of their pet and they keep looking at they
yeah,
keep looking at their phone, like, did I get an update yet from my pet sitter? And then they get that update from their pet sitter because their pet sitter uses updates, and then they go, and then they're able to work, and maybe they show getting a promotion,
yeah,
and all because they have their pet sitter at home taking care of their dog, right? So,
yeah,
oh my gosh, this is so exciting for me because it's creative and I love
yeah.
just thinking about things. So tell me about, emails and embedding videos into our emails. Can we do that? And how do we do that? And does it work on mobile or desktop or anything? Or talk to me about that.
Yeah, so this is, and I know we email back and forth a little bit, and we're really big on embedding a little video in the bottom of every single one of our emails. And I actually find this, especially for, I know a lot of people in your audience are people that are just starting out. Maybe you don't have a tremendous budget to do marketing, and
Yeah.
maybe you just want to get it out there. So embedding that video allows people to stay in your email for a longer period of time
Hmm.
and allows them to engage. So I'll give you our own personal example, just perfect example to use this eat your own dog food, expression. But we do that with our work. So in the bottom of all our emails, we use a software called Ystamp,
Okay.
Wisestamp. So it's basically this. It allows you to embed. A video. It makes a proper signature for you, and at the end of the day, it allows when you're sending that email for you to put a video in the bottom. And that creates that little connection between you and the person you're emailing with
Right.
that, puts a little extra flair onto it.
Yeah.
So,
And
and it's
in
such a,
our industry, we're selling trust and security. And I've always been a proponent of doing video biographies on the website instead of just static biographies with print. But I love what you're saying with this. I tell a lot of pet sitters that they need to do templates. Like, you just got off the phone with a client who wants a dog walker. You got off the phone with a person who wanted a cat sitter.
yeah,
So within these templates, I'm thinking 2.0 now, instead of just like, hey, cat client. Also, and don't forget to check out the video at the bottom, and you can see it in action. It's taking it so that they don't have to click off the email into a YouTube channel or click
yeah,
off the email back to your website and then get lost or sidetracked or whatever. It's like right in front of them. You can't
exactly.
not do that. Is exciting, and I think I'm going to start using that in my own coaching company. I used to
Go for
have
it.
a video at the end of my signature, David, where it was click here to see who you're talking to, but it went to YouTube and it was like, hi, I'm Bella Vasta, the person behind the typewriter.
Yeah,
But I love that. I hope you guys, if you're listening to this right now, I want you to find where you found the podcast, and I want you to tell David if this is like lighting a fire under your butt or not. Because I'm pretty sure it is, because it is on mine. So David, switching over, that's all great that we have this video, but what kind of camera should we use? I mean, do I need a big old $1,000 fancy camera? Talk to me about that.
yes. So as far as equipment, there's a couple ways to go, I always tell people the same three segments. So the first one is, you want the first one is kind of do it yourself, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is for your budget conscious entrepreneur who's just trying to create a video, get something out there, and make something happen.
Yep.
So for that, from a starter perspective, having a video, in my opinion, is better than having nothing at all.
Yeah.
So using your phone to create in the best way you can.
Uh-huh.
Using some light editing software, using some stuff that will just kind of get you started with video, will kind of get you in the door. The next step is hiring a freelancer.
Uh-huh.
So this would be hiring, finding someone that's local to your area, that's kind of by yourself, that knows the type of equipment
Uh-huh.
that needs to use. And some of the more complex cameras, the Canon Mark D series, the possibilities with equipment are endless. However, the creation, in my opinion, is something that's a little bit more important than the equipment, if not equally as important.
Uh-huh.
So when working with a freelancer, you want to work with someone who can take that tool, which is the piece of camera,
Uh-huh.
and use that to make something amazing. And
Yeah.
the third tier is really agency, like, one like mine where, we
Right.
have a large body of work. We made hundreds of videos. We work with hundreds of different clients. So,
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand where you're at in the process, whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
do-it-yourself thing
Yeah.
or something along the lines of an agency side. Understand where you're at and what value you need to create with your video, and then select, do I do it myself and buy a little bit of equipment, or do I hire an agency or a professional to do it, just like people are hiring you to take care of their animals.
Yeah, I love that. And that's really good because you can really break it down, like I know when I want to do things on the fly, I just do it on my iPhone. And when I really want to get down to business, I pull out my expensive camera, but I don't like pulling it out because I don't know what all the buttons do. I
Yeah.
need a class in it, so it's almost more stressful for me that way. Talk to me more about, you had said hiring a freelancer, right? But where I see a problem happen is, how do we know who to hire? How do we know, is it just a videographer to shoot it? Or is it just equally as important, David, to see how they edit it and their style of video? Or do we hire someone different for that? Because I think the minute we kind of get into all of that editing stuff, that's where people start going, it's too much. So what would be
Yeah.
your best advice for just a mom and pop, company trying to do it all on their own and stand out in this crazy digital age?
So from a freelancer perspective, let's say you're making an hour, or even agency. I would apply the same process to that.
Uh-huh.
The two things you're going to want to look at are body of work and process.
Okay.
So if you're hiring an agency, if you're hiring a freelancer, you're going to want to understand how does this person, run their operations? Do they have some sort of pre-production process, which
Mm-hmm.
is, as making this podcast, the pre-production, what you do beforehand, the notes you take, is
Yeah,
almost as important as game day when you actually do the shoot,
for
if not
sure.
more important.
Yeah.
So, if you've created a video, if you're thinking about creating a video, think about what's happening before you actually go in and make the video,
Uh-huh.
and give it some weight, because that actually is what can often make or break a video, is the pre-production.
Okay.
So from a production side, when you're looking at an agency, when you're looking at a freelancer, make sure you take a look and see if the quality of work is up to your standards. And everyone has a different take on what they like and don't like,
Because it's
but
creative.
it's creative, right?
Yeah,
That's why there's a lot of different types of video agencies. That's why there's a lot of different
sure.
types of dog walkers. So people take their pick on what they want based on work. So make sure you look at 5, 10 different people before you make your selection, or
Yeah,
5 to 10 different agencies. And then kind of when you ultimately do it, you want to work with someone who's responsive, who's on the ball with it, just like any other vendor.
for
So
sure. Those are great tips. I love them. I'm taking notes here if you see me looking away, because I am going to put them in the show notes here. But listen, we got to take a quick commercial break, Dave. And when we come back, I want to talk about what the anatomy of a video looks like. What should we have at the beginning, middle, end, and how to structure that. We'll be right back after these messages.
perfect.
And I'm here today with David Feinman from Viral Ideas, and we are talking everything video. David, you are dropping so much good information on us. I want to keep this going. So we're talking about, where to find videos, what kind of videos to do. Talk to me about what should actually be in a video. What does that anatomy look like?
So think of when you're creating a video like creating a story.
Mm-hmm.
So a story has beginning, middle, end, right? So the beginning, it might be something where it's catchy, right? So if you're making it for Facebook, you want to get someone's attention. The beginning might be 3 seconds, might be 2 seconds, might be 1 second, where it's something catchy that locks people in.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if you're listening in the beginning of this podcast, we were talking about, maybe it's the video of
A dog pooping.
a dog pooping,
That
right?
would be crazy on Facebook, wouldn't it?
All right,
You'd be like,
let's
what?
let's get a little weird here. Let's talk about that. So let's say we have a video of a dog pooping. So
Gosh.
the first end of it, maybe the dog is walking. Maybe the first part of it is the dog is walking past the neighbor's yard, and the neighbor gives a snarky look.
Yeah.
Maybe that's 2 seconds of clip. Why? So in your head, you're wondering, why is that neighbor giving a snarky look at me? Why is it giving a look at the dog? I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
So now you got them locked in, right? So then maybe you change the camera angle, right? So now here's the middle. You're going to build some suspense. So you point the camera down at the dog. The dog's got this little, you try to get the dog to have this little maniacal look on the dog's face. and the dog looks over at the homeowner's house and takes the squat that we all know and love, and takes a poop right on the neighbor's yard. And maybe you have this happen 3 or 4 times, and eventually, at the end, it's like, hire a professional dog walker so your neighbors aren't pissed off. Like,
Oh my
oh,
God, I love it.
now someone's got to call me and we'll make that video for you.
That is awesome. And I love how you were just able to creatively like do it on the spot. Like, how long did that just take? Like, probably 45 seconds. 45
Yeah.
seconds. Because that's what like an agency does. That's what a professional does. Like, you are a professional just like these pet sitters and dog walkers are professionals, Like, it doesn't have to be this big, long, elaborate thing. You're not talking about, and we provide day visits and overnights and da-da-da. I just saw a pet sitter, Dave, who created a video, and it was a very professionally done one. It was beautiful, but by the 50-second mark, I was like bored out of my mind, and they still had like a minute and a half to go. And it was constantly telling me about, it was basically like a brochure, like threw up,
Yeah.
it was like, nobody cares about any of that. Nobody cares about any of that. They just need to be hooked in by some sort of a short story, like the dog pooping on the lawn. And oh my God, that is just so priceless, because we
Yeah.
all know that feeling, We're like, no, not right here.
Don't
Keep
do it.
walking.
Don't do it. What's funny too is there's actually a psychology when you're selling to someone, right?
Yeah, talk to about, preach it.
Let's say someone's selling to you, right? And we've all been there. Everyone's been sold to at some point in their life. When someone starts telling you feature and benefit and all this stuff, you immediately put the guard up and you stop them. You're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I'm just here. I'm not trying to have a good time. But the second you start telling them a story that builds suspense, that leads them to something that they could potentially want, that's where you're going to be able to capture their attention for a little bit longer. Yeah. And in any sale, in any situation of trying to get someone to do something, it's about holding on to their attention for as long as humanly possible. Because once you have that, you're able to kind of then start to trickle them the features and benefits, why you're better, why they should pick you over someone else, to take care of their animals. So
I love that. And through that is just evoking emotion. I mean, it sounds so dry when I say it that way, but you just had me laughing and hollering, like, as I'm on this podcast, which I don't do too much on podcasts, but because you evoked some emotion, like horror of the dog, pooping, the laughter, because I can feel with you, like I can feel for the person that's like, come on. So I think, this is so good. I'm so excited. You guys, I know you're going to love this podcast. I cannot wait for it to come out. And because obviously we're pre-recording this. So why don't you tell us about what kind of topics can we do on video for existing clients, new clients, and clients we haven't heard from for a while? Because these videos aren't just all about like, hey, look at me, I'm a dog sitter in town. You can use video at all different stages of the relationship. So break it down for me.
So when you think about, broken down simply into a sales funnel, you have a group of people that have no idea who you are, right? So this is more your awareness phase. And with that group of people, there's 3 stages. So we'll go through them one by one. So the awareness stage, you're going to want to show off something that's catchy, that gets people in the door, that gets people emotionally driven. And when you think about it, that would be like your poop video. That would be like the 2 other videos that we described. Doesn't necessarily have to say too much about dog walking. Doesn't necessarily have to say like too much, but it has to strike some sort of emotional chord with someone to get them to either share, engage, do something for the next step. The second tier of video that we like to look at is something more in the middle of the funnel, where someone's engaged with you. Maybe it's someone who you've talked to a few times that isn't necessarily ready to start letting you walk yet or start letting you sit yet, but it's someone who's kind of warmed up a little. And in this stage, you want to build that trust. They might not trust you fully yet, so you want to show testimonials, show you have an existing client base that loves you, that you love their pets, so you want to show that interaction. So it might be a simple video of you taking the dogs for a walk, something simple as that. You recording it on your cell phone.
B-roll.
Be a little B-roll, something like that, just to re-engage. And you can always send that out to people that you're trying to warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then ultimately in the close, people want to know, how do you work? What's your process? How do you do this differently? What's going to happen if my dog gets sick while I'm away? Are you going to call the vet, or are you just going to kind of like wander out the back door and pretend nothing's going on? So they want to know that you're going to, they want to know the nuts and bolts of it, kind of, and the how and the why and how much does this cost. So, making sure you're hitting, all that throughout the process. And kind of back to the mission of what we do. And I hope you guys can take this, whether you're working with us or anyone else. You want to share the why behind things.
Yeah.
The what and the how is just kind of the surface part of the equation. But kind of I listened to part of the podcast about the why from a few weeks ago.
I love that.
That is critically important to make your customers understand when you're talking about doing it through videos and through graphic elements. That's so important.
Yeah.
And it's something that's often quite overlooked with videos because people get too caught up with the features and the benefits, but it's not necessarily the why behind why people buy from you.
Would you say, talk to me a little bit more about the why. Do you think that like showing the why of why we do it, or the why of why you need it, or the why of the client, or like talk to me, give me an example of a why?
Yeah. So it could be something as simple as, so we did a video for someone who brings, it was called like Bow Wow's Wedding Pal or something. So she actually brought dogs to weddings.
Yeah.
And her why was she didn't want, like, dogs are excluded from the whole wedding day, right? But they're a huge part of a couple's life.
Yes.
So her why was showcasing the reason why people should bring their dog and the reason why she wants to personally share that experience with a couple. So it could be something like that.
That's
or it could
brilliant.
or it could be why you over someone else, right? It could be that your whole life you've grown up and you've been a pet lover and you've been someone who like loves to spend time with animals, and people aren't really your thing, but dogs are. So it could be that, and that could be your reason why, and you want to share that with someone who's buying from you, and they want someone who potentially cares about animals more than anything else in the world. Yeah. So you want to just relate that why to the business. And it doesn't have to be incredibly deep, but there has to be some level of substance there.
Got it. I love that. I love that. So as we kind of come to a close, my final question for you, because we've been talking about so many great things, give me the mistakes that you see companies make when they create videos, so that everyone who's excited and who wants to go run out and do a video right now, they don't make these mistakes.
I would say top of the list is, not even from a production perspective, but from a pre-production scripting planning perspective. Clients will come and they'll say, I want these 20 things. Oh, and by the way, only make it a minute. And I want these 20 elements in the video. And that's great. And we understand that there's a lot to your business and there's a lot that you do and you're so passionate about it, but people are going to tune out number 17 through 20, especially if you're jamming it down into a minute and it's near impossible. So what we like to tell clients is video creation is a process. It's like blogging, right? You're not going to write a blog around, 20 different topics in one.
You're not going to write a research paper. It's not a research paper, right?
Yeah. Make one topic and make that be the video, and then, partition that out. Don't think about having to do everything in one. And I know a lot of the big concern is, I only have this much budget, so I want to do this much with that. But it's better to do this much with this much budget because you're going to get a better result ultimately if you just focus down on one thing. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But other things are production value is important. I know we talked about a little bit do it yourself, but a lot of times, the production value could inhibit things in the long run. So it's better. It is good to make some sort of investment. So, if you can come up with some money to produce, that you'll find a provider at every stage and every level. So, just you have to find them. So, it's ultimately, you want to get some level of production value, good lighting, good sound quality, really does make a huge difference in video.
Cool. Did we cover, I'm looking through my notes and I want to make sure that we cover everything because we had so many great points here. Did we cover how do we suggest marketing the video? I know we talked about Facebook and we talked about email. Anything else to add on that point? I want to make sure we don't miss anything.
Yes. So I would say we talked a little bit about Facebook. Facebook ads are great. A little bit about YouTube. Make sure you're properly embedding that into your website. Yeah. But I would say that one of the things that is often overlooked is doing the proper setup on a YouTube page. So and I'm not going to go through all the nuts and bolts of it on your podcast, but I can definitely send you guys an article on how to follow it. Not written by us, but it's definitely a great article on on properly title tagging, properly structuring a YouTube video.
Yep.
And this way, when people are searching, YouTube searches are ranking very heavily on Google.
Yeah.
And I know everyone here has probably searched on Google at least once or twice in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times for search results, the top couple of results will be video.
Mm-hmm.
So you want, when someone's searching for pet sitter, Philadelphia, pet sitter, San Francisco, wherever you might be in the world, you want to rank first for that. So the way you do that is to properly tag your video and to properly make sure you have your video set up, and that can make a huge impact on your business.
I love that. I love that because I think the easiest way to equate that to for all the listeners out there is we talk so much about SEO and like when we post a blog and using Yoast or making sure your title and your tags and your keywords and your alt tags and your pictures are all great. But all of that also applies for when you post a video on YouTube. You can't just throw up any old video and then just expect it to stick. You have to do all of that SEO work as well. That was fantastic. Dave, it was such a pleasure getting to know you. I know that you've excited the audience. I know this is going to be one of the most popular podcasts. Tell me how we can get in contact with you.
Awesome. So my website is viralideamarketing.com, or you can shoot me an email, dave@viralideasmarketing.com, and I'm happy to help with anything I can.
Super awesome. We're going to include the link to WiseStamp in the show notes, also that YouTube setup, and in that video you were telling us about. I can't wait to see that. I definitely encourage you all to just check out his website and see the videos so that you can really feel what we're telling you right now. And remember, if you love this podcast, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. And even if you're daring enough, leave a review. I would be so honored. And when life gets you down, guys, remember to always keep jumping.